requested by Mr. Hank Shouse to have a few minutes, and Hank will just throw the floor over to you, and you can use the mic if you want to.
I'm going to try it without a mic. Go ahead. First of all, I'm not trying to tell anybody how to run their business or what to do, but I do want to say a few things. I was in St. John's last week through the AGM of the Canadian Federation of Municipalities. 1,200 delegates and about 1,000 spouses and that sort of thing. The 30 delegates that I sort of zeroed in on were 10 from the Yukon, 10 or 11 from the Yukon, and the same from the Northwest Territories, and the same from Nunavut. I had a chance to talk to each group separately. I wanted to know what they thought about their system and all of that. They're all territories, none of the provinces. And the advice I was given, don't ever try to become a province. You can't afford it. Our 28,000 were just about the same as the Yukon or Nunavut. We're too small. To become a territory, then you are coming under Ottawa instead of St. John's. But where does all our money come from anyway? It comes from Canada, it comes from Ottawa. BigLand handles it sometimes and passes you a check, but still Canadian money, Canadian taxpayers' money.
Sometimes they don't.
And they said, here, you should push it right now, but don't be surprised if it takes you 10 years to get there. That's based on their experience. Well, 10 years from now, that's a long time from now. However, you have to start doing something sometime. Now, the reason they like the territorial status, well, here, there's no parties. Here, what do we have here? We got 3, 4, or 5 political parties all fighting with each other. We got 3 Aboriginal groups, more or less fighting against each other. There's 6 or 7 or 8 different groups. With territorial status, they don't have any parties up there. No liberal, no conservative, or anybody else. And that's what they suggest for here. You don't need political parties with 78,000 people if you're going to divide everybody up into small groups that you really aren't going to accomplish much.
Yeah, but how are you going to get away from BigLand?
No, first of all, do the Labradors want to do that, want to leave? I don't know. I think they would, but I don't know that.
But
you have to have a referendum, and if you have a referendum, Ottawa will see that you have, they'll help you get the ball rolling. So I'm told by the people who've done this. Now, you know, it sounds great. It could happen. It won't happen unless somebody starts pushing it. Now, who's going to push it? If the Labrador Party, after I say, we don't need the Liberals, we don't need the Labrador Party if we were all united into a single group of Labradorians who want territorial status, and we're all sort of thrown in together. So we don't need those political parties. All right, now who's going to push it? If the Labrador Party pushed it, well, geez, the Liberals are going to be against it right off, aren't they? Or the Conservative or whatever. And I don't like the idea of somebody coming in from outside going to solve our problems. But probably, maybe an independent outsider could come to Labrador and maybe get the ball rolling. Now, whether that's going to happen, I don't know. You know, here, I just want you to think about it. Now, there's a delegation of 20 coming down, I guess it's next week, from Nunavut. Some are going to be bureaucrats, some are going to be party councillors, some are going to, you know, of course, Nunavut was easier. It's pretty well Eskimo country, you know, or Inuit country. Whereas Yukon was Indian and whites. It's all right to have an idea, but if we can't, if nobody's in favor of it, it's no good. If the government's fair, here I can't see Danny Williams saying, okay, you take Church of Falls and run with it, you know. But maybe for 10 years you have it done.
I'd say it's the only way we're going to get any chance to get the use of our resources.
Yeah, it's to
The
have
system
control.
we've got now is never going to happen.
Yeah. on the short end of the stick, no question about it.
Yeah.
But how you change that stick around, I don't know. You know, it's easier said than done. Just a moment now. And talk to the people from Nunavut when they come down. See what they think. It's not hard to find out who they are, because they'll be around trade show. They'll be around town.
Yeah.
Now, it was good at the Yukon. They all had a heavy gray blanket vest. Yukon right across the back. You could spot them, you know, any place. Nunavut didn't have that same uniform. Well, you don't need much of a uniform. And,
Hank, do you think Labrador is different though? We got 3 Aboriginal groups and we got the settler people.
yeah.
And like you just said, the 3 Aboriginal groups are at themselves. They're at their, you know, everybody is anti to each other. But the 4 of us got to get together and live together and be Labradorians. We're all Labradorians.
Yeah, we're all Labradorians in our view.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody in Nunavut said, here, the best way to do this, you get the LIA to push it. Well, now the LIA want the government of their own, as I understand it. Are they going to want to take all of us in? And Labrador South, and, you know, I don't know.
You know.
That's part of the problem now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they got their.
Well, here, because this
They
idea,
don't want anybody else to encroach on it.
yeah, they've never had the idea of territorial status. All they want to do is take care of themselves. Inuit was something the same, aren't they? No, they want all the power, the money, and everything they can get. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. Something to think about. I'll be thinking about it. You think about it. And carry on with your meeting.
Questions before we start our elections? Sir?
Yeah, I'd like to comment about Mr. Shouse's statement. I like it very much. In Alaska, there are 231 native groups, and they all got together and formed a health consortium for the good of all. No problem at all. They were very wise. They could see the wisdom in being together. But of course, they didn't have the province or country of Alaska and Newfoundland, did they? No. Newfoundland and Alaska. And if you say that, people think that you hate Newfies. Max has been accused of it, I've been accused of it. Many people have. You speak up for Labrador or you're a radical. Somehow or another, if we're going to get to the place Mr. Shouse is talking about, somebody's going to have to take a lead role in it, and I think this party could do that. And I think this party should send a delegation to meet or set up a meeting with the Nunavut and let it go to the public that you've met with them, to the media. But to get to where Hank is talking about, which is a dream of many people and a lot of us in this room, something that I've had since I was a small boy under my father's table listening to the results of the election of Mike Martin. This is the problem we have, is fear. And when Mahatma Gandhi decided that India should be free from England's rule, which was basically the same thing was happening to those people as was happening to us, he said the first thing that we need to be freed from is our fear. When the people stop being afraid, then their wisdom can kick in and their common sense can kick in. Somehow or another, we need to address the fear amongst the people. People are terrified of change. You hear it in every political campaign, every political election in Labrador, how much people are so afraid, and we go around in our little groups, like Hank said, and we knock each other down about our fear about this one is bad, or that one is good, or this one, this kind of stuff. So we have to overcome our fear. And I think, myself, I think native Labradorians are afraid of outsiders. I'm not afraid to say that. I believe that to be true. I've seen it many, many times. I think people are afraid. Timid. Beaten down for hundreds of years. Even the settlers that are here from the island, they went through the same kind of shit on the island. Beaten down for hundreds of years. Until you're trembling in your belly at the sight of an authority figure. And we have to overcome those things. And there have been positive steps. When I think of the Premier having his dinner up there and the Labrador Party went up there and protested that, I think those things work. I don't think those things are radical. I think they work. And I think that this party needs to start taking more public stands like that. Recently I heard a story about a woman who has to pay such an outrageous price for her medication. She has cancer. And these are the kind of issues. We've got to start jumping on these issues and calling everybody here to come out and carry signs or blockade or do whatever it is we have to do. That's how we overcome fear.
Yes, Kirk, I can remember as a kid growing up home, you know, maybe you're a little bit on the saucy side, that you're going to say something, shh, the wall's got ears. Yeah. You know, you're always threatened, eh? Yeah.
Well, that's my comment about it. I think we have to overcome our fear first.
Any further comments before we get into our elections? Okay, Hayward.
I'd just like to add a short comment to all of this, like, as all the wide country, we all know that three Aboriginal groups are just fighting each other just for whatever they can get, and then you got our settlers. But I ran federally and provincially, and there's one term, as Pierre Trudeau used to always say, logic over passion. Now, if you're going to create a constitution for this party, there's one word you've got to use, and that is the people of Labrador. You do not use that term Labradorian, because some people say, oh, you're not a Labradorian, so on. There's only one term you use when you put it down right, and that's the people of Labrador. You look at the Canadian Constitution, you will never ever see the term Canadian in there. It's just the people of Canada. You look at the Newfoundland Constitution, it doesn't use the term Newfoundlanders, it's just the people of the island of Newfoundland. And that's the term he's got to start using. Don't use that term Labradorian because you say, you're not a Labradorian, yes I am, so on. You just use the term the people of. And that's what you got to use. And that is a legal requirement under international law, by the way, too. When it comes out and putting it in writing, you just got to say the people of whatever Canadian territory.